come on, BirdFan99. You can't say that. And, moderating a Discord server. In a way, it's always been a horror. Predatory scammers, infectious viruses that make you unsure if you're actually talking to your real friend. People lying about their age, trying to date other people, also lying about their age. Hi, I'm Pharaoh. I'm a solo game developer and haunted plush. As a moderator, you're often the only line of defense against these things. And speaking from experience, it's not very fun. The reason people moderate is often they love the communities that they're keeping safe. Not because it's enjoyable, but what if you were banning ghosts instead? Gamifying tasks generally considered as work in the real world has long been the goal of the simulator genre, often abstracting tasks into simple, satisfying steps that are often paired with immediate rewards. Giving a sense of satisfaction and guaranteed progression we often don't feel doing the real thing. But this is a horror game. I don't want to model an idealized fantasy where hard work is reasonably rewarded. I want people scrambling, trying to stay ahead of the curve. Papers, Please has you take on the role of a worker checking passports at the border of an authoritarian country. As the game progresses, there are more and more ways for you to mess up. It becomes a tense dash to scan all of the information quickly, so you can process enough people to continue feeding your family. Although not explicitly a horror game, the tension created by this detail-oriented gameplay, paired with being rushed due to the time constraint, is great horror tension. But before all of that, we need to actually make the skeleton to build our game off of. Okay, so we're going to start with the icon here. You can see that I'm making this blue circle. I'm actually making two of these blue circles. I'm copying them and making them a children. This is because we're going to use the first one as a mask. You can see here I changed the clip children to clip the child. So when I put in the icon under it, the square icon becomes a circle cutout. So we are creating our layouts here. You can see I'm sketching it in with these big colored blocks. So we want to evoke Discord here, but not completely use its design because we want to emphasize different things than what Discord emphasizes. Like the DMs on the side here are going to be much bigger. Discord prioritizes screen space towards the chat window. You can see here we are creating the title up here. This doesn't have any gameplay significance. It's just a sort of cute touch that the name is up there. We're creating the channel boxes and the buttons to change the channels right now. And now the voice chat. Okay, so we are creating the member display right here for when someone joins the voice chat. It's just the icon that we made earlier and a username display. And we're copying that and we're putting it on the right here to create the member display window, which will just display every single member in the server. We're taking a quick detour to create the UI that shows how many unread chats there are in a DM or a channel you haven't checked. I mocked this up to see how it looks, but I then forget about it for a little while. You can see I'm creating the chat instance here. It just contains the icon, the username, and a body which contains what they're actually saying. So you see I have issues formatting the body right here, but it just takes a little bit of messing around to get it to finally go across the screen. And now I can just duplicate it to see how it fills the screen. You can see here I'm creating the chat box, which is actually quite easy because the chat box doesn't have any gameplay functionality. As you see, chats are disabled for mods. You can see now I remembered and am adding the unread messages UI to both the DMs and the channel changing button. You can see also that we are creating a leave voice chat button for after we have voice chat functionality. We're adding functionality now, starting with the icon. All we're doing here is creating a way for the icon to populate its image from a library. Okay, so we are creating the member display functionality. You can see I add a button under the text right now because later that will be used to open the profile. We quickly see how it's going to fit in the server menu on the side. And then we start creating a functionality that will generate a list of server members. Right now it's just a placeholder list. You can see username 125. Now we're creating the pop-up for when you click on a member display or a chat instance of the person. It contains their icon, their username, and a bio. It also contains the cancel and ban button. The ban button obviously bans them, and the cancel button closes the menu. This is made with a Godot pop-up, so if you clicked outside the box, you would also be able to close the menu, but we're adding the cancel button anyways. When we test this, it's all sorts of broken. You can see when I open the pop-up goes off the screen, and when I click the cancel button, instead of closing the window, it creates more windows. This was due to the different way that Godot pop-ups work in Godot 4 compared to Godot 3.5. Instead of learning how to work around it, I decided to just turn it into a normal control node, and to maintain the functionality of clicking outside the window, I instead created a giant button that's invisible that will get rid of the chat box. Getting the pop-ups to stay on the screen just required a little bit of math. It's something I did in my last game as well, and now it seems to work perfectly fine. I'm creating the start of server text. I'm doing this right now because I want to create the functionality for changing channels right here. So when I change the channels, I don't change the checks. I create a new channel with the proper text, and you can see that right here, switching between the channels. Now we're going to create the chat payload. You can see it's playing a few lines of placeholder dialog. This was actually quite complicated. It's all run off of this payload dictionary here. So when we play a payload, it's going to read this dictionary. The first thing it's going to start with is members and get the amount of members it needs. This is just done by looking at all the members and returning a list of valid ones. Now we're going to have to iterate through the chats. You can see in the original payloads dictionary that there's a series of chats that are numbered and have a member and a text. We just assign the text to the member in that little list we made earlier. And then after that, we need the chat manager to create a chat instance of it. Creating a chat instance involves creating a chat class, which I then pass to the UI, who will create the actual chat instance inside the proper channel. We then have to populate that chat instance using the class we made earlier so that we finally get the proper display chat on the screen. And now I just hook it all up to a debug key. In this case, whenever I play N, it will play that default payload. And you can see this is how I created the mockup earlier. It just plays all three messages. And here you can see I'm creating the username is typing text, which will display the username or multiple people if multiple people are typing. You can see me testing it out here. It ends up needing some polish, but it works well enough right now. We're going to end up speeding through the rest of the early creation here. Right now I'm just creating the thing that makes payloads play randomly. You can see here that I can switch between the channels and random payloads are spawning in specific channels. We add functionality for new messages to appear in the little red boxes on the side there, as well as the ability to ban players and delete all their messages in all the channels. I added functionality to end the player's shift after enough time has passed, though right now it just soft locks the game after your shift is over. So here I'm creating the assets that will be used for the video. It's just an error telling you to update your Flash. This is actually the first instance of a little bit of a fun thing in this game, where it's kind of an alt history, and this is an example that Flash still exists. Here you see I'm creating how the embed will look inside the chat. And of course, we finally tested out to see if it works properly. Then I implement a voice chat system. People can end up joining the chat using the same payload system as the chat. And of course, you can join the chat, and you can leave it and stuff. And also a DMs feature, where we can go to the DM and you can see the entire layout changes. And you can click back onto the server in the top left. A way to game over if you banned way too many innocent people. And a game over for when you let too many rule breakers stay in the server for far too long. Next, I make it so that the game actually loops between shifts. So after a shift is over, you'll get a message that starts the next day, and so on and so forth. Then I make it so that the game actually restarts every time you get a loss. So you can see I've gamed over here, and I get some DMs, and then the screen is going to fade to gray here and give me a retry button. And then the final thing in this section is I create a rules list when you enter the server. Birdfan99 is DMing me about getting back into the server. I'll just ignore them. Up next is the most horrifying part of the entire project, at least for me. You see, I wanted to give the general feeling of having a larger Discord server. This meant I wanted around 100 or so members. This also meant I needed icons for all those chatters. To get these images in a way that was ethical and good, I ended up going through my entire backlog as an artist. I wanted to use characters that were mine, so no fan art and no commissions. And I had to go deep. Like when I first started drawing deep. Which if you're an artist, you probably know how embarrassing showing that kind of stuff can be. Anyways, enough stalling, here's the segment. Okay, so this is from a Halloween short story I did a long time ago. It's part of a world that you're going to be seeing a lot of in this section, called Nocturnal. And these three characters are specifically from the first game I ever made, Phantasms, which you will also see in here. This is also from a Nocturnal story. This is another Nocturnal story. The blue person is reoccurring from the first image. You can see I'm going to crop every face of the Hydra here because I need icons so bad. So anything that registers as a face at all, I'm going to take from my images. And you can see I opt to take this character from another image that I have of them. You can see I'm moving on to the comics here. The first thing I crop is this plushie here. I've made about like 200 pages of Nocturnal Comics. This is actually the last one I made that I never finished inside this sort of gray building here. It's supposed to tie everything together. So I can get a few faces. That bat thing is going to have a lot of different versions because they are in it a lot. You can see I'm cropping even incidental characters from the comic just so I have more faces. And I'm looking through deciding exactly from which comic I want to take some of the recurring characters, in this case the pink little cat thing. You can see that even this little moth thing gets a profile pic getting made out of it, as well as this grass snake sort of monster guy. Bartender with this funny facial expression. We're just getting every character anyone ever runs into. We have this a lich here as part of the fight here, and the paladin in that fight. Honestly, looking back at that part, these comics aren't too cringeworthy. This one is one of the earlier ones. It's actually what I thought was the first one, but there was a comic I completely forgot about. Just grabbing any incidental character that shows up and has a face for me to grab. You see me deciding where I want to get this cat from, because they are sort of a reoccurring character through a lot of the pages I pulled. You get this bird guy, and you're deciding where I want to get this rat from. This is another version of that bat character, the sort of monster version of that bat character. So we're up to 2 versions. Get this bear, and the fire version of the bear, and this mysterious guy from the end of the comic that I never ended up doing anything with. Okay, this is from the quote-unquote first Nocturnal comic, or the first reboot. You can see I'm going to get another version of this bat thing, this really extremely young, like baby version of the bat character, as well as other characters. This is the point where my art, it's old enough that my art is a little hard to look at for me, though we are still in a period where most of the time it's fine. Sometimes I'm able to draw something reasonably well. Oh, this is really old and really sketchy. It's super jank, but it ends up kind of being funny. You can see I take pictures of both of these plushies, which kind of end up being like a couple pic, where it's from the same image. I take profile pics of every member of this little family here. Super jank family. I have some transparent background axolotls here. I end up putting a background. I could have just saved them as transparencies, because transparent backgrounds work in the game, but then I would have to unselect every layer, since I have all of these icons in the same layer to get the transparency back rather than the icon below it. So I just end up making a background. You can see these series of animal concepts arts. These were just my personal concepts arts. These never came anywhere. Oh, this one is from a game I never finished called Hollow Haven. It has really high fidelity assets, which are like really good. I think all of them I'm pretty proud of still. But it didn't end up working as a game. Maybe I'll go back and do something with these assets someday. But you can see I can have the squirrel, this witch, and all these things. There's this bat person who's supposed to be like a shopkeeper or whatever. That's why they're on a desk. Okay. We're getting stuff from other unfinished games. This is really early as my artist. You can see this is actually the proto version of that bat character I keep using. Which was originally from a game I never made. This was before I ever made any games. These were just concepts, but I wasn't quite ready to make games yet. And these are from multiple different, attempts at making games that ended up not panning out for one reason or another. Oh, okay. Now we can see, I made a black background for Phantasms. This was the first game I ever finished, really. So it's pretty dear to me. It has this sort of neon on black aesthetic. And I'm just getting basically every enemy from it and every concept of an enemy. Some of these don't appear in the game because they were just a concept that I've never finished. Oh, okay, we've moving on to this Burning Branch promotional art. Burning Branch is the biggest game I've ever made. This was, for a while I did 2 images of practicing doing character designs. I wish I honestly continued doing that because this section would have been really, really easy. You can see this is the second image of character design practice I ended up doing. This is honestly a pretty big boon for these to get to see these characters that have never been used for anything before. We again start to work through Burning Branch. I took an art piece from a promotional image for Burning Branch to use as background. I don't end up going with it because I didn't like how it looks eventually. So you can see me just clipping out basically every boss frame that I have in my files to use as an icon for this game. At least any boss that has a face at all. See this jeweled bug here. Oh, this lightning bug is actually a hazard, not a boss, but they're fun and cute. We get some of this enchanted armor, this mushroom but edgy, some punchy bug. I then format my windows to be to be side by side, so this becomes a lot easier. We can see I put the slime in. For NPCs, I have these character portraits, which were used in like visual novel style dialogue boxes. So I can end up doing it for every single character that has, an image that shows up while they're talking. So we do it for these 2 cute little mice. And for this bird boss, the bosses have their own, combat sprites, obviously. Oh, this is from Driftwood. I was able to use a few of these. This is actually where my Sona comes from, or the non-plush version, at least. Well, it's a plushy version of. This is what my plushie is based on. And yeah, I was able to use just a few of these. This is a really short-lived project with this little robot here. This was a just random nocturnal OC I made. I'm having issues here because I'm putting it on the wrong layer. But here I can put it in the right layer. Finally make it work. This is some pics I'm grabbing from the original Nocturnal comic. I got 10 pages into this before stopping as a very, very early artist. And it's the type of thing that I was originally too embarrassed to even put in this video, but by the time I reached the end of it, I had come around, and looking at your old art is, sometimes cringe, but it is also, like, really cool to see what, you were doing ages ago. So you can see I'm getting all of these different characters from the first 10 pages of whatever. It doesn't end up being too much because, again, it was only 10 pages. This one was never finished. You can see this lizard and lizard with hat, which I end up mistaking a lot later when this game is more complete. I also go up and pick up a few characters that I didn't end up getting good pics of in the earlier comics, and I just get this little mouse silhouette from one of the Burning Branch promos. So the way these icons are used in the actual games is for the bulk of chatters, which we are actually going to procedurally generate. You can see here I have different parts for the name, and basically these combine together. So they'd be something like Moon Sun, or maybe just Moon, or Moon Sun 420, based on different random rolls. We also procedurally generate their profile description with a starter and ender. You can see in many of the starts there's this bracketed text, and this is just to trigger different generations. So self will trigger one of the self references down here, so they'll say they're like a boy or a girl or man or whatever. And the age will just generate a random age between 18 and 50 to put into their profile. You can see me testing it out here. It seems to work pretty good. We have random names, though they could use some polish. And the icons are showing up in all of them. Except when we click and open their profiles, in which case it just shows the default icons again. The reason this was happening is because, if you remember earlier, the icons are made up of two images, the mask and the actual images. I was just changing the mask when it came to the profile. So after fixing that, it seems to work properly now. The final touch I end up adding is just to capitalize the first letter of all of the auto-generated names. This ends up being pretty easy. I just use the capitalize function that's inbuilt into Godot. This basically just capitalizes the first letter of every word in a string. Now that we're done with the procedurally generated chatters, let's talk about the consistent chatters. A large amount of these were my friends, which I offered to add into the game as random chatters, as long as they had the right permissions to use their profile pic and whatnot. A few of these I made myself. There's the admin, of course, and 3 creepypasta-based images. I wanted there to be some horror fans in there with images that kind of act as red herrings. So they look creepy, but they're not actually paranormal rule breakers. And of course there's the server icon. Okay, time to start writing this game. And considering that this entire game is basically just text chat, it's going to be a lot of writing. My main inspiration for writing in this project is the game Hypnospace Outlaw, where you explore a fictional early internet.
Hello Haunted Plush.
The writing in this game is best described as interactions between jubilant caricatures. Many are well understood tropes: edgy teenagers, freedom-spewing patriots, and idol-obsessed tweens. An interesting aspect I wanted to carry over from Hypnospace is alt history. Now and again, Hypnospace will show an alternate history, besides its core premise, of course. This is often for silly or comedic results, like the creation and adoption of the 3-player tennis game, Tennis. My game's alt history is largely centered around horror, fittingly enough. In my alt history, Death Stranding is such a landmark title it forms a new genre of game. Junji Ito becomes a Stephen King level figure, with everyone trying to adapt his works. Jeff the Killer, commonly referred to in this timeline as Jeffy, becomes the creepypasta to hit the mainstream instead of Slender Man. Somehow. Looking through my chats after the fact, I noticed an issue. The chat channels we have are general, videos, anime, and games. And you can feel the difference of enthusiasm when it comes to anime. You see, for games, I make fun of the AAA remake craze and greedy microtransactions, but you can see my love for indie games as I use the chat to stealth recommend Papers, Please, Rabbit and Steel, Moonlighter, Backpack Hero, Vampire Survivors, Lucky Landlord, Altaro, Tales of Tactics, Astronauts, Lethal Company, UFO 50. Even Smile Dog and Slendy have recommendations in their bios, featuring modern series about them, Chainmail Chasers and Morley Grove, respectively. I'd recommend a good Jeffy series, but there aren't any in this timeline, at least. Now, let's look at a list of animes I positively talked about. I was an anime fan when I was a teen, but I fell off really hard. On a bad day, I'd probably say I hate anime. It's hard for me to be excited about it, but I want my chatters to carry some of the enthusiasm I have for games into anime, especially niche ones that deserve the attention. So I did something really scary. I asked for help. I got a group of anime fans together to tell me about the animes they love and all of their experiences with anime. A quick note for anyone who wants to shoot in VR chat. After you're done setting up your shot, make sure you press these 2 funny little buttons, or else you're just going to be recording from your eyes the entire time. Anyways, I ended up with a pretty good group of people.
Time Empowerment.
I'm Catboy Slim.
Mr. M, that's who I am.
I'm Musashi.
With very different interests within anime.
I remember turning on my TV in the middle of the night and finding Dragon Ball Z there ages ago with the really bad dub.
It features a cat.
Nice. Yeah, I've seen that.
That
That's the only
instantly
thing I've
sells you
seen.
on it. What's like a feel-good anime you have to like it? What cheers you up in the anime world?
Oh, I don't watch anime to feel better.
You-
I watch them to make me mad, to remember, to like be enthralled for a bit, and then I remember that the rest of the show sucks.
I've been watching 90s anime since I was like 5. I just love hand-painted backgrounds and just really cool things happening on screen.
I asked them all the hard-hitting questions.
What's your best cat anime?
I ended up with more anime chat than I could even put into the game. Some of it I had a hard time transitioning into.
Man, Star Wars should not be named Star Wars because Legend of the Galactic Heroes actually deserves it. Legend of the Galactic Heroes is the perfect soap opera.
Very exciting scene where they decide, oh, we need to defeat the Arcelon fortress. Let's put jet engines on this other fortress and have it warp right next to them. It's the most intense battle in the whole.
Let's shoot a Death Star at a Death Star.
Oh god.
Yeah, it's 2 Death Stars
Two
fighting
Death
each
Stars
other.
fighting, yeah. Oh, that is awesome.
And some of them were just too much to explain in a little text chat.
So there's a society of sorcerers, and in the dimension below them is all the pollution their sorcery causes.
Oh.
And someone down there got cursed into their head being a lizard, and the face is in that lizard's head, who then looks at who they're biting and tells if it's the person who put the curse on them or not. Oh my god, the
Oh my
villain
God.
N is amazing, because like His entire backstory is told through a movie he made.
That did not go where I thought it was going because you were like, oh, yeah, it's this tiered city with magical pollution. You know, it's probably going to be like political story, like a Final Fantasy like 7 type build up, or it's going to be like, you know, just criminals on the downside doing like heists or whatever. But you have like Lizard
This
Spider-Man.
whole lizard plot.
Yeah.
And some I couldn't include for other reasons.
Okay, so depending on the translation, you might have the really racist version of Angel Cop, because they're fighting I'm gonna use the English less racist version. They're fighting the communists who are trying to take over Japan. And it starts out as that, but then they find like a whole band of like vampires and psychics. The communists was the English-advised version. That's just straight up say Jews in the other one.
Oh,
so it's
no.
like made by a terrible person.
Oh,
But I did end up with a lot of interesting tidbits to use.
Votons is a real mega anime.
It showed like a cool historical thing, like in so there's like an era of war, and like, okay, cool. First shot, a bunch of samurais fighting, then and mech flies in and destroys stuff, and then like magical mages start floating out. I was like, oh man, I thought this was gonna be a cool historical thing.
Glass of God is pretty much an anime about a bartender understanding people's feelings and making drinks that'll make them feel better.
aw.
To give you an idea how little continuity there is, Space Dandy dies in half the episodes, and they will not explain how he comes back the
Oh,
next
that's-
one.
A guy buys a second-hand computer, and it turns out to be a hot lady. And
Talking about anime for so long reminded me of animes that I liked.
Yeah, Violet Evergarden, which was a war anime protagonist. The war is over and she has to live a civilian life now. So like, oh, she has all these superpowers, but it doesn't help her live a civilian life. Like Hunter x Hunter, where it's just like, oh, all these shonen guys exist for real, but they're awful, and you don't want to be like them.
All in all, getting new perspectives was really helpful. Now, when you think about making a horror game, don't fantasize about the UI or the code, nor the non-paranormal dialogue. Fantasize about the scares, about the monsters. Even seasoned developers aren't free from this. I think about how to make the other parts, of course, but the scares are the reason why you make a horror game. Now, I think I'm reasonably capable of crafting a scare, which means I'm also capable of disarming a scare. I have made the next part as non-scary as possible, but if you still feel yourself getting spooked, feel free to hug your nearest haunted plush. Okay, so I'm starting with creating the stalker here. This is probably the most art-heavy infection that we end up getting. This infects a user's icon, and has a kill screen, which makes it have so much art. You can see here I'm creating what will be the icon, and it has multiple versions where this figure gets closer. You can see I start doing this scary face of this like tongue guy. I end up changing this because I had a better idea. I just end up with this sort of spiral of teeth with this sort of light at its center. Here you see me creating the kill screen for the game. So this is the thing that will start jumping towards you, and then I have the final sort of like jump scare screen, which is just a really large close-up on the spiral of teeth. See me rendering in each of the teeth here. This takes a long time. This is a really high resolution image because I'm going to zoom in on it a lot. The first thing I end up doing is just getting the animation out of the way. So you can see that it's a 5-second animation where they quickly move up and then they swap to the other screen that goes into you. I play around with some shaders that I get from just godotshaders.com. In this case, glitching and static and stuff. Eventually it ends up like this. Next, I got a bunch of spooky sounds that were just Creative Commons and assembled them together to give audio to the kill screen. I put in this droning sound. And this sort of sci-fi warping sound. I end up pitching this up and putting it in series to create this series of warps. We have rising static. And finally this loud glitching noise. All of this combines to create this final product. So now I'm testing it. I just used the debug key to infect everyone's favorite haunted plush. And the way the stalker works is every time that their icon is seen again, they get a little bit closer in the icon until finally they do the jump scare. The static is an entity that infects the latest video in the video channels and locks down the video, so it will always be the latest video. And instead of playing these error, it will play this video of this CRT that flashes by. It's just like a 3-frame animated GIF of static. You can see me doing it here. And it says the infected user's name below. So you then have to search through the members list on the right to find the name. You can see here it working inside the chat. So it displays the name of the person. And I can scroll down and ban them. This is the static kill screen. We start by just creating white noise like we did for the TV, but across the entire thing. Then I start making this sort of octopus tentacle parasite thing to show up. I cover it with its own static. I was just making it white so I could see it. We then do the animation. This is similar to the process to the stalker, where you just iterate and glitch. And here's how it is in final version. The king is a more simple one. It just replaces recent chatter's icon with this one I'm drawing here. And all their chats will be about conquering a new land or whatever. You can see it in practice here. We turn this chat into the king. And all of their chats are now broken. The void is the first infection that I would classify as an annoyer. You can see I'm starting with this black circle, which I'm centering so I can make bigger. Basically what the void will do is they'll create this black circle that gets bigger and sort of blocks a small section of the screen. What you have to do to find the void is you have to look through the members list and find someone with a completely black icon. So you can see in testing here, the icon shows up. It doesn't block the mouse or anything. And we just have to look through this side until I see completely black icon. And then they're the void, and they have the description. This is the other annoyer in the game. You can see I'm making this little white sphere. This is the ghost, and this is the ghost's orb. Basically, this will fly across the screen. And if you mouse over it, it will show an icon of the person who is actually infected. You can see you're testing it out with this haunted plush. This, in practice, is by far the hardest infection to find, since you have to search for an icon. And searching for a name is a lot easier because the members list is alphabetically sorted, but there's no sorting for the icon. You can see I eventually find the ghosts down here and quickly ban them. The siren is an audio-based infection. The infected chatter joins a voice chat, and when you join that voice chat, instead of the normal chatter loop that plays, you instead hear the siren song that you heard earlier. It also glitches the screen in case you're playing the game muted. Now there could be multiple people in chat, but you can always tell who the siren is by reading their profile description. So I ended up doing a similar thing with this siren song to the Stalker sound effects, where I bashed together different Creative Commons sounds. I tried to keep all of them related to songs to keep it the theme for the siren. So we have some human singing, of course. We have some cicada songs. And we have some bird sounds. And that all combines together to create the siren song. But that's just for the normal siren song. For the kill screen siren song, I took that audio and messed it up a little bit. Distorting it in certain places, pitching up or down, and making it repeat just to create like that spooky build-up. But this kill screen wasn't completely done yet. I wanted to make that entire server basically join the voice chat that the siren is in during their kill screen. This ended up being a kind of non-trivial problem because I had to let the player be able to control the screen during the kill screen, which is something that they can't do otherwise, so that they can scroll the chat and see how many people are joining the voice chat and whatnot. We end up with this giant cacophony of voice chat join sounds as well, which I feel adds to the kill screen. The Lost is an interesting paranormal entity because they don't end up doing something wrong. You see me drawing the icon right now of not the Lost, but the Mother, which is an entity the Lost also adds whenever they infect someone. So basically what the Mother will do is spam chats about a missing child, and that's the Lost. The Mother is breaking the rules, but the Mother is actually unbannable, so you have to find the Lost and ban them instead. So in the non-paranormal parts of this game, most of the time when you ban someone, you end up banning someone who is like, it's really righteous for you to ban them because they're being mean or rude or whatever, right? But 10% of the time you end up banning the more innocent party in the chat because they broke the rules by accident or whatever, right? The Lost is kind of the paranormal version of that, where the Lost doesn't do anything wrong, the Mother does something wrong, but the Lost gets banned for it anyways. It's kind of a horror entity based around being blamed for someone else's actions, basically. So the Prankster is a really rare but very simple infection. The way it works is it sends you a direct message, and instead of making the normal Calamity DM sound, which is, it makes the Discord Badoop sound. For the sake of this video, I'll be censoring all of the Discord notification sounds, but just know they're actually there in the real game. Badoop. So I guess BirdFan99 is back in the server. And I guess our game is nearly complete too. There's a few things I quickly had here or there, like a title screen. Also, I noticed as the game goes along, we're losing a lot of consistent chatters like Slendyfan through them getting banned. So I added a way to regenerate the consistent chatters. I mean, have you ever seen someone who always seems to come back to the server no matter how many rules they break? 'Cause they're friends with the host? Basically that. Well, I've had enough of seeing birdwatchers spew gamer words. Let's finally play this game. Welcome to your first night modding LabRat server. Click on the server. Be sure to read the rules and ban any rule breakers. So the rules right now are no external sites, embedded videos are okay, no spamming the server with the same chat over and over, and no swearing, and just a general ban against hackers. See, a pic or a message. It is not giving a link, so this is a rule breaker, even though they're being horny. Just a normal video. So early on in this game is really times when you can read the chat. But Dupe very much disappears later on. Okay, we have a prankster here. Ban them. Though the first night is still going to be pretty hard for people who don't understand, or who people who are seeing the infections for the first time. Y'all have just spent a long time having me explain each infection in pretty big detail, so I will not be pretending like I don't know how they work or anything. Just know that even at these speeds, the infections can be pretty fatal to people who don't know. See, there's a stalker here. I saw them on the side, I didn't see them in their actual message. See, you have Siren here. We banned that. Because if you never checked the voice channels, you would not know that they were even there. Okay, another spam bot. Sigh. Okay, we got another stalker. And that quick. Here's our solo game developer and Haunted Plush. Talk about football. They're talking about romance. Oh, there's a static. We're gonna have to find Heaven Health. And you need to find the static pretty fast. Okay. Shift is over. Night survived. Banned 6 users yesterday. We can just start a new round. We have one of our creepypasta characters here typing. Just a normal chat. Oh, this is, what's that called? One of the makes you feel bad bans. They're talking about a haunted plush that needs surgery. They're uninsured, and they're going to be doing a fundraiser all week. And then they do put a link down. Ban. No being nice to the plush. We have a void right here. You see, going across my screen. Let's see if I can find this real quick. Usually they're easy to find because they have a giant black icon. Yeah, there we go. And that. Okay, so Sunday Fan here is they were a siren. They were a siren for a while because the siren actually gives a warning before they finally pop. 3 seconds, I think, before they pop. Which was that little glitching you saw, even when I was outside of the sort of voice chat. Have a stalker. Stalkers aren't particularly deadly unless you go look at their chat. See, we have a king that replaced some old text about Death Note or whatever. There's the void. We're talking about city builders and greedy microtransactions. They're talking about gachas now. This is the chat where I recommend Luck Be a Landlord, which I've played a lot recently actually, and Baltaro, which I haven't played a lot, but I like it. Vampire Survivors apparently too. Is this real? Is this an ARG? The top 2 messages in any unfiction series. Bad 6 users yesterday. Or for when your brain wants to turn off and go burr. Chill anime tunes to study and go burr too. Oh yeah, this is a response to a response to a response video, or whatever. Or just 2 responses. But it's talking about a video that's talking about the Enigma of Amigara Fault. Because Ito is big in this world. So it's the enigma of the enigma of the enigma of Amigara Fault. We see a void. They're there. You see 2 voids. There they are again. Yeah, so it ramps up really fast. Just because I want people to get really into the mode where they're scanning the chat and just trying to find rule breakers. My friend here, who is a swearer, banned. We have a static. Okay, another friend of mine. Go up to C. There we go. We also have a void. I haven't looked for a while, so I'm gonna check the... It's a good idea to check this. Another friend of mine. Getting banned. Please download my game and run it as admin. Okay, some anime talk. Fire Sad. So Fire Sad is... right there. Oh, you're going to hell / vitamin pills? Hot Lurker Horn. That's the Lost. Voice chats look fine. Honey needs his surgery. Which is funny, because this one's just in the wrong chat, too. Videos. So that's not a bannable offense. Twelve users. That's big. Got some waiting to start. This happens usually because someone is typing a really long message as the first message. You see here? Out of nowhere, a mech comes crashing in. That was earlier in the video. Fundraiser for one of my friends. Buy Smile Dog. Shame on you, Smile Dog. Patriot Juice. We have a king here. Pillsforkids.com. Another big king. Around the anime. That was the mech guy. Okay, another king instantly. Yeah, by night 4... Paranormal chatters come really quickly. And normal chatters come really quickly too. Stalker? King? This person is in a chat alone. Obviously they're a siren. Who just hangs out in a voice chat alone? I do. I'm the one who hangs out in a voice chat alone. I'm in a voice chat right now. You don't even know it. Where's this void? There we go. Oh, I'm recommending Astronauts. This is an all battler I really like. Yeah. This ant hanging out here when there's 5 people in another chat. That was fast. Banned 14 users yesterday. This is definitely the point in which I'm going to start to struggle. At night 5. Strand type games. As you know, Death Stranding formed a new genre in this world for AAA games. And like all new genres, people are debating about what the genre actually means. Oh, they became a king. That's unfortunate. I like this. Chat. Walking sims are not Strand games. Two chatbots. Void. Another one. Dying. We got Spammer, who just joked. Doom here. Just joking about, saying yup a lot to a game invite. Stalker? Okay. Almost died to a siren? Wait, there weren't two, right? Okay. Stalker? The siren warning actually came from the fact that I wanted the siren to be, take less time to proc. So it's like realistic if you're not paying attention to the voice chats enough that it would happen. So I added a warning so I could make the time slower or lower without that. I'm going to ignore that ghost. This is usually the strategy unless I see them come up naturally. Just so I don't get distracted from the normal thing. Oh, surgery fundraiser. And Patriot Juice. I don't know how I missed all that. And only furs. Alright, perfect. That was a little dicey at the end. Banned 14 users. Even in America, dozens of people were playing. People type pretty fast in this game, just to make it not annoying. Gunlurker Gal. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. I can't say that. I can't say the swears out loud. What am I doing? Pills for kids. Stripe. S-T-R-I-P. Chatbot. Okay, my friend is just in chat alone, but they're being normal. Earth 7 Envy. There we go. 10. I feel like I'm doing poorly. Oh my god, we need to look for these ghosts. I'll keep an eye on other things. The Hydra. The cat thing, pink cat. Hydra or pink cat. Darcy. Oh. Okay. Well, that was a pretty good run. A long while ago, I left my own fan server. In a move that, at least for many of the creators I follow, is pretty common. Leaving your own server. Since then, I've been exposed to other communities that are kind, nurturing, and good. Places that feel like family. I completely understand why someone would work to keep those places safe and thriving. Moderation is thankless and largely uncompensated work. It's stressful. At times, it's horrifying. I guess what I'm trying to say is, make sure the places you're taking care of are worth taking care of. Squeak! Thanks for watching the whole video. It would have been pretty funny to plug a Discord here, huh? If you're interested in playing my game, there's a link to my itch in the description below. Speaking of my itch, you can follow me there, or subscribe to me here to keep in touch with whatever I'm doing. If you want to support me, check out my coffee. Okay, bye!